All right, welcome back, everybody. We are in section 3 of chapter 1. You've already learned how to create massive actions, and now I'm going to show you how to put that all together and how to use it in your daily life. How to make a massive action planning system through using software, whatever is best for you guys. But I'm going to show you guys exactly what I use. And again, I've gone through so many different softwares, so many different methods of running my tasks throughout my daily life. And this is the best one that I've found so far. And again, guys, understand that this is over 13 years of trying and testing a lot of different methods. So here we go. Let me show you what it is that I do every single day. So in any case, listen carefully. The process that I'm going to explain to you may be complex to some, may be a lot more simple to some. I tend to think that I am very simple compared to a lot of people's mindsets and the methods on how they use what they use to create a task list per se, or to-do list like a lot of other people do. So in any case, David Allen, I talked about him in the previous section, but he also teaches that your brain is the equivalent to a 7-year-old when it comes to storing and processing new information. Now, let me explain that. In order to be effective, you need to transfer new information into massive action tasks and remove them from your brain immediately. Because again, just imagine if a 7-year-old lived in your brain, okay, and that was your assistant that's sitting in your brain. I know that's weird to think about, but your assistant's there. He or she is 7 years old, and you start throwing and dumping information into your brain, right? Saying, okay, here, take care of this, take care of this, take care of this. Here's a bunch of these things. Here's a bunch of emails. Here's a bunch of files. Here's a bunch of phone calls that you need to make, okay? And imagine that, you're going to overload your brain, okay, and make it so that your brain feels very discouraged and very overwhelmed. And eventually what's going to happen is that you're either going to give up or you're going to put off a lot of the important tasks because it's just too overwhelming, okay? Another thing too is that if you, again, so what I'm trying to explain is that you do not want to store a lot of information in your brain. And what David Allen teaches is that you actually don't want to store anything in your brain, okay? You want to have all these important tasks and important things that you need to get done. You want to have them processed through your brain, but you don't want to store them there and keep them there and trust your brain, again, 7-year-old child, in your brain to tell you when something's important and what to do before another, right? Or to prioritize things, right? Your brain, more or less, is a processing tool, okay? So let's go ahead and dive into this. I'm going to share with you guys. Hopefully, this will make it easier to understand. Okay, so there's a cycle that happens. Okay, there's a cycle that happens in our brain, and this is well, let's just call it. This is the life cycle without getting things done, or RPMs. These methods that I've taught you. This is the life cycle. I'll just call it. I don't know how to spell. I'll call it the life cycle without order. Okay. I truly believe that your life, you have to have everything in order for you to accomplish a lot of things that you guys are going to want to accomplish in life. Okay. In order to do this, you have to understand the method or what I'm talking about. Okay. So normally what happens is, number one, you think of something that you need to do, but what happens is that you end up storing that information in your brain. Okay. All right. The next thing that you do, okay, after you store all this information in your brain, what happens next is what we call burnout. And I know we've all felt this before. We've all had instances in our life where we put too much on ourselves, too much on our plate, and then all of a sudden we get burned out. Okay. And that's a natural occurrence. Don't feel bad that you feel that way, but just understand now you got this 7-year-old in your brain. You're throwing too much information at it. So now it burns out. Okay. So now the next thing that happens is this. Okay. Everyone will then fall into a state of depression. Okay. And again, I'm not meaning like a deep depression. I'm talking about you feel overwhelmed. Okay. And you feel very sad. Again, and sometimes it's small, sometimes it's big, sometimes it's really big, right? And you got to get even more help because you're overly depressed because you have too much going on in your life. Okay, so that's the next one in this cycle. And then what happens after that is that most people end up coping. Okay, and a lot of times coping means that you're turning back to bad habits, relationships. Okay, and that's how people cope, and you don't want to have that happen. So again, this is the life cycle without order. Okay, and think about it as you guys go through what you do on a daily, right? This is happening over and over and over. This doesn't just happen one time a day. This can happen over and over and over and over again. Okay, where you store a lot of information in your brain, you get burned out, you feel a little bit depressed, and then you start coping with it in bad ways. Okay, and that's why you get a lot of people that and I won't say for everybody it's different. For some people it's playing video games. For some people it's eating ice cream. For some people it's just pulling your blankets over your head and ending your day, right? Just saying, you know what, I'm done. I'm just going to go to bed, right? And if you think about it, that's typically what a 7-year-old will probably do if you threw too much on them. Okay, so with this understanding, we have to know how to make it so that we do not overwhelm our brain. Okay. And again, big guys, this is very, very important. I'm spending a lot of time on this because this is the foundation of your day. This will determine whether or not you get anything done throughout the day. Okay. So you got to be very mindful of how this whole process works. And you got to notice when you're in certain phases of this. Okay. Even to this day, even with me understanding this, I jump into some of these phases, but I quickly catch myself and say, hey, I'm burning myself out. Let me get all my information stored in the right place again so that I can be free. Because the idea and the goal is to take everything out of your brain, okay, and put it into a system so that your brain is empty. So you got a nice, happy 7-year-old sitting in your brain saying, you know what, I love life because I don't have to worry about stuff. Stuff comes in, I put it somewhere, it's getting done. So I don't have to worry and I'm having a good day. And I'm not just sitting and deciding to eat ice cream and go to sleep, right? Because I'm overwhelmed, okay? And as an entrepreneur, you're going to have a lot of these days, okay? As an entrepreneur, you're going to have work life, family life, everything hitting you from all angles. And if you do not know how to handle that, okay, you will not know how to accomplish things, okay? And again, I go back to a lot of people ask me, how the heck do you get so much done, Mo? How do you handle so much of these things all at once? I'm going to show you exactly that. So I'm very excited to show you guys this process. And I'll have you guys take some notes down on how this all works, okay? Now, it's very important that you understand these things because this is going to happen very fast. I'm explaining in a complex, semi-complex process, but this happens very, very fast. So just stick with me. I'm going to give you a 5-step process on how to effectively use this massive action planning system, okay? So we'll go from step 1 to 5, okay? Okay, and this is what I'm going to call our massive action, because that is all we do now. We perform massive actions all day. Planning system. And understand, guys, this is something that's been tried and tested, not just by myself, but a lot of very, very successful entrepreneurs in handling their day-to-day lives, handling all the things that they have. A lot of you guys look at Tony Robbins, you look at Grant Cardone, a lot of these other big entrepreneurs, and it seems like they're doing a lot of things, and in all honesty, they are. And a lot of times they're only able to do this because they run it through a system. Okay. So number one, what's important is that you record. Okay. Record your thoughts and ideas. Okay. Because most of the time, these are the things that are going to turn into a massive action, right, in your planning system. Okay. Number 2, you're going to decide what to do with them. Okay. Decide, you have information coming through. You got to take it quickly, decipher, and then decide, okay, what am I going to do about these things? Okay. It's not enough just to say, hey, I got this cool thought idea. You need to decide what to do. Okay. Um, Third is you need to plan. Okay. Now, this is when you decide how, right? You're going to decide what to do. Now you're going to decide how to do it. Okay. Whether you're going to, you know, delegate it, whether you're going to actually schedule it for a future date, or whether you're going to just go ahead and complete it. Okay. So again, record your thoughts, decide what to do with them, and then with that decision, you plan, right, how you're going to complete it, when you're going to complete it, right, or if you're going to delegate to someone else to get completed. Okay. Now, the next thing you do, and I'm going to write this 3 times. And we'll talk about this in more depth too as we go on with this section, but you got to focus. Okay. If there's anything that Tony Robbins teaches a lot, it's focus. One of the most important things in your life is focus. You have to focus. You cannot be distracted by a lot of other things, guys. You have to focus. You have to know what it is that you're performing at that given time and focus only on that. Okay. A lot of you guys with girlfriends, boyfriends, spouses, right? Children, you should understand this, right? If you sit in front of somebody, right, and you give them your undivided attention, that relationship is going to grow, okay, and it's going to prosper. Now, on the other hand, if you sit in front of somebody and all you're doing is looking at your phone, okay, which we see a lot of people do nowadays, you're just staring at your phone, again, that relationship isn't going to grow. It is not going to progress, okay? The same goes with every task that you have in your business. You have to treat it like a very, very important relationship, and you have to focus on it, okay? Take all the distractions out of the way, okay? You've already gone through this system. You've put things where they need to go, right? You've planned where everything needs to go. Now you have to decide, okay, this is what I'm focusing on right now. So this is the only thing that I'm going to do. Put everything else away, okay? Don't worry about anything else. And we'll talk about that a little more. This time, I like to call this time when you're focusing golden time. I guess I could have wrote this in gold. Okay, golden time. Okay, this is very, 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 very important time. Okay, now once you're done with that, you're going to go back and review. Okay, 5 steps, guys. Again, it seems simple, but let's go ahead and we're going to break this down even further so you guys can understand how you accomplish all 5 of these things. Okay, record, decide, plan, focus on the thing that you decide to do at that time, giving it the golden time and the undivided attention, uninterrupted attention that it needs. And then once you're done, right, especially once you're done for the day, you go back and review what you did throughout that day. Again, this may seem like a long process, guys, but it really is fairly simple, and it happens very fast. And the more and more you do it every single day, the more it becomes second nature, and you no longer have to worry about, what am I doing at this point, right? You're going to do this so many times, and with your brain, you're going to process all this information through it, and it's going to pay off in dividend and a lot of profit and a lot of prosperity. So let's jump right into number 1. Okay, so step 1, record. So I'm going to share with you guys the software that I use, and it is called Asana. Okay. Now, when you record, guys, you have to, every time you have a thought or idea come to your head, you need to put it somewhere. Okay. I love Asana. Some people use other softwares. In the end, it doesn't matter, but I'll tell you right now, this is a lot of time that I've gone through a lot of different softwares. This one tends to be the easiest for me to go through. It's not overly complicated. There's not too many features. Okay. And if you look in here, this is a process that is taught by David Allen. He has 5 different lists. Okay. I have a massive action list. Okay. Right here, here on the furthest left, I have a next action list. So the massive actions are the things that I concentrate on just today, or for just today. Next actions, these are things that are coming up very soon. Okay. Tomorrow, maybe within the next few days. Okay. I have those in the next action list because I'm going to pull them over into my massive action list for today once they become important or on my schedule to complete that day. Um, the next um, the next list are projects. You know, some projects have multiple steps, right? I have in my projects list, citizenship for a friend. I'm helping one of my friends gain their citizenship, or at least a work visa here in the United States to get their green card and hopefully get citizenship. And that's going to take a lot of different steps working with my attorney to make that happen. Okay. The next list is called waiting for others. Okay. So a lot of times when you decide to delegate, you still want to follow along with what's happening on those projects. So I put those on my waiting for others list. And then the next list, as you can see, has the most probably. And these are just someday future tasks, things that aren't very time sensitive, right? These are just ideas that are coming through my head. And like I explained before, guys, everything that comes to your head that's important or that may be important in the future, you need to put that down. Okay. Even if it's something where you say, you know what, oh crap, I need my son's birthday's coming up in a couple of days. I know he likes this bike, so I want to buy this exact bike. You find it on your phone, and you're just thinking about that. But for most people, they say, oh, okay, cool, I'll remember it when the time comes for me to buy it. Let's say that birthday's 3 months from now. Most people are going to forget what it was, or they won't be able to find that. So what I do, and what Asana allows me to do, is I can take those things and I can create an actual someday future task and put it in there, and I can even put a date on it so that I know when that date comes, or when it comes close, I can move it over to my massive action list and complete it on that day. Okay. So again, I'm recording it. Everything that's coming through my mind, I'm recording everything. Okay. And if you look at step 2, okay, step 2, then you decide, right? You decide for each task where it's going to go, and that's what I've been talking about. And you got to decide whether it's something you're going to finish today, okay, whether you're going to finish it soon, whether it's something that's a project, you delegate it, or whether it's something that can be done in the future. Okay, so, and if you take a look at this list, guys, under the massive action list, you'll notice that everything says today, 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 today. I only have things in there that I'm getting done today. Okay. Everything has to have a date, guys. Sometimes in the someday future task list, you're not going to have dates on those because maybe they're just cool ideas that you thought of, maybe a business idea. If you look at mine, I have business ideas, podcast ideas. Eventually I'll start a podcast. I don't have one right now yet, but I know that I'll want to. So I have things in there that I need to get done if I'm going to do that. Okay. So, but if you look at my massive action list, what I'm accomplishing just today, I only do about 3 to 5 things a day. Okay. And that may not seem like a lot, guys, but I'll tell you right now, I promise you, everybody that's jumped into this and started doing this process, they've always come back to me and said, hey, Mo, it is so hard to finish 3, let alone 1, 2 things a day in its entirety. As a society today, we're not used to actually starting something and finishing it. We're so used to jumping all over the place and never really getting anything done. So what I'm trying to do is help you guys learn how to focus on what it is that you're trying to accomplish and actually complete it. Okay. And the only way you do that is if you have a process like this where you can start and finish tasks, especially the very important ones. Under my massive action list, the first thing there, you'll notice that it says, I am bold, fearless, loving, forgiving, humble, and strong. These are my affirmations. A lot of successful people use affirmations. These are things that remind me what it is that I'm trying to do in all of these steps, all of these things that I'm trying to accomplish, all these businesses and stuff. They're all fine. But I want to make sure that I remain and I strive to be these things first and foremost: bold, fearless, loving, forgiving, humble, and strong. I put it here on my massive action task list because some people put things on their fridge, on their bathroom. For me, I spend most of my time right here in this Asana software, because this literally tells me every day what it is that's most important, prioritizes things for me, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, so I go in here, I see my affirmations. The 3 things right underneath that are the 3 things that I try and accomplish every day. I try and accomplish my the biggest massive actions that I can accomplish for that day is what I'll put there. I don't put little easy things that I can finish, other than I got one in there to pick up a new iPad from the Apple Store. To me, that's something that's important because I have a lot of plans with that iPad, so that's important to me. So today, I need to accomplish keynote chapters, pick up an iPad from the Apple Store, buy a monetized Instagram account highlighting military fitness. So these are three big things that are tied to massive income opportunities for me. And that's why I chose to do those, you know, and sometimes I have three, sometimes I have five, sometimes in a certain day, I can only accomplish one thing and that's it. And I'm fine with that. As long as I never have a 0 day, I am very happy. Okay. So under that, it says recurring tasks. So there are certain things also in the day that I get done no matter what. I don't consider those things that are one of the three things that I'm going to accomplish in that day, because these are just daily things, right? I always post on Instagram and Facebook. I have goals that are tied or tasks tied to my marriage, my spirituality, my physical well-being, and my intellectual well-being. So I always want to share feelings with my wife. So at the end of the day, my wife loves when I just explain to her what my feelings are for the day in business and life and family. So that's something that I want to be able to check off every single day. Spiritually, I study scriptures. For a lot of you guys, again, your spirituality is very, very important. Do something for that every single day. Physically, I work out between 30 and 60 minutes a day, sometimes more. And then intellectually, I try to always listen to books a lot, okay, on Audible. And I try and accomplish those things every single day. Look at that daily list right there, guys, in my massive action list. I get a lot done in one day, and I progress very quickly towards high income earning activities because I'm doing them every single day. And if you think about it, 3 times 5, 6, depending on your work week, right? 3 times 6, that's 18 things that you're getting done in a single week. I promise you guys, that is way more than a lot of very high level executives are getting done in a week. Okay. So again, if you want to be successful, you need to start acting successful and doing everything needed in order to accomplish that. Okay. Now, moving on to step 3. Okay. When you're planning, some things are for you, but there are other things that are going to be for other people. So if you decide to delegate, make sure that you're delegating and putting it in the right list. I don't show on here my list for my team. Eventually, when you have employees, teams, every single employee or partner that works with me, they're all on this same system. Why? Because it's very easy to track. It's very easy for me to open up everybody's daily list and see what it is that they're trying to accomplish. When we have our business meetings every Monday and Thursday, this is where we spend our time, right? Because we can go back and say, hey, this was assigned to you. The due date is here. It's showing that it's overdue. So what's going on, right? We don't have to guess when we sit in a meeting because all of our tasks are here. When I'm sitting in a meeting and when I start to delegate, my assistant starts adding these tasks in the right place for certain people, right? Saying that, hey, if this needs to get done by Wednesday or Thursday, she'll put it in the next action. If this needs to get done today, she'll put it in their massive action list so that they know that, hey, today it is expected that you complete this massive action in order for us to progress as a business, okay? So again, planning is very, very, very important. Delegating, scheduling, and getting it completed, okay? So delegating, and every time while I'm talking and assigning certain things, or when things are assigned to me, it also is assigned with an actual date, okay? With an actual date. Sometimes that date may be next week, right? Sometimes that Thursday meeting will come and it doesn't matter as much because that task isn't supposed to be done until the next Thursday or the next Thursday. And again, what it allows me, and if you guys really think about this, it allows me to be able to not worry about things because they're already in here. All of my team has their tasks. Dates are attached to all of them. I don't have to worry because I know they're going to get done. As long as we're following this system and the only thing we're focusing on the daily are the things that matter that day only, then we are going to be totally fine. Okay. I hope this is making sense, guys. The other thing I wanted to show you too is that there are also in Asana, it allows you to take single massive actions and add subtasks to it as well. Okay. Because sometimes a massive action is, hey, get this. So here's mine. Confirm that 2 videos are posted on a monetized YouTube page by the end of the next week. There's a date on it, right? But in that, okay, I have certain subtasks that I need to get done in order to finish that whole thing. So again, understand that not everything is going to have just one step. I understand there's going to be multiple steps. Asana is going to allow you to add subtasks, okay, to I think this is the button right here. You can push it, add subtasks so that you can create in detail what it is that needs to get done. If you notice in here, you can also attach more people to a single task. You can attach pictures. You can attach files. There are a lot of things in here that you can attach all in one task list. If I have somebody in my team that if I have somebody in my team that I need to accomplish something, and I have a picture or a video or a file to share with them, I can go in their task list, open up that specific massive action task, and I can add stuff in there to help them along with what's going on. They may type in there that, hey, having trouble finding this, and if I can find it, I'll put it in their task as well. So communication is always happening in this software. So again, if you can't tell, I love Asana. It's done very well for me. I've used Slack, I've used Wunderlist, I've used Google Calendars. I use a lot of different things, guys, and I've found that for massive actions and this RPM system, getting things done system, Asana to me is one of the best ones. But again, you can try other ones, Trello. But again, for me, this is the one that works the best, and I've tried a lot. Okay. The next step is to focus. Okay, guys. And you have to focus because everything is going to be vying for your time. Everything's going to be vying for your attention. It's hard for us to focus a lot of times. So we have to be able to set aside, certain times that we're going to time blocks. Okay. And I call this time blocking so that you know what you're going to be handling. Now, because you have this whole list of all these massive actions, now you got to figure out in your day, when are you focusing on what? Okay. So this is kind of a two-part system. I have this awesome massive action task list process in Asana. And now I have a calendar as well. But let me first explain to you a list of things that you need to always have happening in your daily. Okay. So I'm going to make this list. Daily. I'm not going to say list. I'm going to say daily calendar. I'm going to show you how I use a calendar because it may not be like a lot of other people do. Okay. There are 5 things. Probably there's a lot more that I schedule, as you can tell in my thing, but there are actually 6 things that I think you should at least have inside your calendar. Okay. So number 1, and over years I found that this is very, very, very important. Okay, is silence. It's we're in a very loud world. We're in a very world full of commotion. A lot of good things, a lot of bad things happening, but it's just very loud. Okay, so you need time set aside for you to meditate. All right, yeah, meditate, and for you to really focus. For some of us, pray. Okay. So silence, guys. It's always good in the day to have a time when you're just free from anything, right? Very quiet, in a quiet space. I know people of very successful people that meditate for hours in the day, and I'll show you kind of in my calendar how I break up time between all these things. Another thing is exercise. I always spell this wrong. Exercise. So exercise, guys, and 30 to 60 minutes is what's suggested. Okay, so 30 to 60 minutes a day. Again, if you don't have, or if you can't find the time to do that, at least take a walk, do something, right? You got to stay active. Your body is a temple and you got to treat it as such, and you got to keep it up. Okay. So the next one is education. Okay. You can get this in books. Okay. You can have, you can take courses like this one. Okay. School, again, for some of you, traditional school will work better depending on what field of business you're trying to get into. YouTube, Google, right? You get a lot of free resources to get educated on whatever it is that you're trying to learn. Okay. Then you have time. I'm going to put this one here. Then you have your work time. Okay. Now this is the time when I complete my RPMs. This is when I complete my RPMs. This is when I'm in Asana. Okay. And I have a time set aside that I do that in the day. Okay. So number 5, affirmations. Okay. And sometimes this comes in the form of written word. Friends can be an awesome affirmation. Family, and again, like we talked about, your circle of influence and the people that you spend most of your time with, they should all be affirmations to you. If they're not, and if they're not positive, if they're not progressing, if they're not people that are big thinkers, big idea thinkers, then you're probably not in an environment where you're getting a lot of affirmations for yourself, right? Stick with the people that are going to make you feel the best. Okay. For everybody, that's going to be different. Just make sure that whoever you're with, they're going to help push you to accomplish more and not hold you back or make you feel like you're doing something that's very negative. Okay. The last one here, guys, is going to be breaks. Make sure you take breaks. Okay. Every hour. And I'm not talking about taking sometimes these breaks only need to be 5 minutes. Okay. Stand up, stretch out. You don't got to take, a 2-hour break for every hour that you work. Okay. You got to make sure that you're accomplishing as much as you can. So in order to do that, I'm going to show you guys my calendar. Okay. So here's my calendar. If you take a look at it, the only thing that's not showing in here is 5 o'clock. So from between 5 and 5:30, let me see if I have it in the next slide. Nope. It's kind of hidden up here, but I have, for me, it's about 30 minutes where I meditate, okay, where I take some very quiet time. A lot of times during that time, I pray, I relax, I meditate, I think of things that are very important throughout the day. I start the day with gratitude, right? Thanking God for everything that I have in my life today, especially my family, my businesses, and just starting off on a really good note for the day. Some people meditate at different times of the day. For me, it works very well from 5 to 5:30 or so. After that, I have workout time. Okay, we talked about physical fitness and making sure that you're working out. We also talked about having time where you educate yourself. If you look at 6:45 to 7:30 or so, while I'm getting ready for the day, I'm always listening to a podcast. Okay, I'm always listening, trying to educate myself. Spiritually, at 8:15 or so, that's when my kids go off to school. That's when I study scriptures, okay, or I study anything spiritual for me that helps me. Again, for everybody, this is different, but I'm trying to hit my physical, my mental state in meditating, physical state in working out. When I'm getting ready, I'm starting to educate myself. Spiritually, I try to educate myself. Well, this all happens before 9 o'clock, before 9 a.m. As soon as 9 a.m. hits, and again, for most people, they can't do this if you still have a day job, but you can do a form of this and start before and after work, okay? But for me, my first 2 hours of my workday are dedicated to education. Only on Monday and Thursday, I have my meetings, and that takes an hour away from that. But normally, I'm trying to educate myself, books, everything that I mentioned before, YouTube, internet, courses. Every day, I'll kind of go back and forth between different things, depending on what it is I feel like learning that day. And then the next important thing is my golden time, and that's my work time. And again, I promise you that even though I work, 6 hours, my massive actions, I work on them about 6 hours in the day. Even though I do that, guys, and that's it, I can get a lot done, because when I go through my massive actions, we'll go back to it, I'll focus on one thing maybe for an hour or two, and that's it until I can get it done. Okay. I'll focus on those things one by one. If I need to drive somewhere to pick up an iPad from the store or something, I'm still, educating myself. I'm normally listening to an ebook, doing something. But just understand that in that work time, I do a lot of different things, but all I'm focused on is trying to accomplish those 3 things that I'm doing for the day, 3 to 5 things. Okay. Um, the next part in my day, and I'll go ahead and add this. So this is now, that's my family calendar. So I got my work calendar and then I have my family calendar. So when I add my family calendar in there, guys, take a look at what's going on. I mean, after I get ready and listen to my podcast, I have breakfast with my kids from 7:30 to about 8:15. That's also when I read scriptures with them. I catch up with them on what's going on and send them off to school. And then I start my work day. After I'm done with my work hours at 5 p.m., I work a 9 to 5. Sometimes I work, 12 hours a day, but you have to do it in order to build certain things in your life. Now, do I have to do that every day? No. At this point, I choose. I'm still in a big building phase, and I want to be in this phase so that I can build as much as I can, so that I can continue to take off days, months, whenever I need to. Family time between 5 and 8 p.m. Okay, so I always have time set aside for just my family where I don't concentrate on work. Because I have this system in place, I can work and focus on work, and I can put work aside, literally take work and put it aside. And when I'm with my family, I can focus only on them. Okay, because I don't worry anymore on whether or not, is John going to finish that, or is Khalil going to finish that task, or what's going to happen here. I don't worry about any of that because I know I can open up my Asana at any time and see exactly where everything is at. And I know that even if I don't open up my Asana, that things are getting done. Okay. At night, you'll notice too there that I have some time for just my wife. If you have a spouse, put some uninterrupted time for that person. Okay. They're probably they should be the most important person in your life. And to me, even over your children. Your spouse should be the most important thing in your life, even over your children, and they should know that and understand that. And that's why I like to give undivided time to my undivided attention to my wife between 8:30 and 10 p.m. or so, right? Again, guys, and know that I'm not so strict on this to where if I go under or over, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, or if I give my wife the entire day, or that's fine. You just have to have this as a base so that on your regular days, you know what's happening at every single point in time in that day. Okay. And I also threw another hour or so at night. Sometimes I'll work through the night for when I need to do that on my calendar as well. But again, guys, nothing is unintentional. Everything that I do is very, very intentional. Okay. Too often, we have so much going on, guys, and we keep, overwhelming ourselves. So we're trying to get past all of this. Okay. So the time you spend uninterrupted performing all these tasks, again, it's golden time. You want to make sure that you're giving each relationship with each task, each relationship with each family member, the time it deserves so that it can grow and flourish. Okay. Tips on keeping momentum while you're doing all this stuff, guys. I think I've said this already and I'll continue to say it. Turn off all of your push notifications. Okay. That goes for your cell phone, especially, but even on your computer, on your iPads, everything. Turn off all your push notifications. Do not let notifications rule and guide you throughout your daily tasks. You got to have a better system than just these things popping up saying, you got a message, lose focus. Now look at this, look at this, look at this. You got to be able to focus. And in order to do that, you got to take all these notifications out of your life. Again, never have a 0 day. Always, 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 always spend time on higher income tasks, higher income activities. Okay. You may not be able to complete a lot throughout that day, but just make sure that if you can only complete 1 to 2 things in that day, make sure that it's the highest income earning activity or the highest, impact activity, even if that impact isn't going to be seen right away, it may be seen in the future. Okay. But you have to develop that skill and develop that habit of always choosing, even if it's the hardest thing, choosing that hard thing that's going to be the highest level thing that you can complete for that day. Okay, guys. So the last one in here, guys, is going to be to go back and review. Okay. So the last step in here, and I'll go up here, is to review. Okay. You got to review all these things that you've done throughout the day and figure out if you're satisfied, if you accomplished everything that you need to accomplish in the day. You got to answer some questions. Okay. And this may take place at the end of the day or right before you start your day, but you always got to have some time in the day where you're going to review what it is that you accomplished. And guys, this isn't something where you got to go sit in an office, pull out a tablet and start. No, think about this in your mind and decide whether or not you had a great day. Did you meet all the deadlines that you had yesterday? Did you finish all the tasks that you had yesterday? Did you use Asana all day? Okay. Literally ask yourself, did I really use this system? Do I have the system just sitting there, or did I actually use it? Okay. Did I make time for each massive action, or was I not focused, and did I get distracted from certain things? Do I feel satisfied with my level of accomplishment, or do I need to push myself harder? You have to ask all these questions, guys. You gotta, and I'll give you some more tips. I mean, get to bed earlier, if you need to have all that sleep. Over time, I've learned to be able to perform even without a lot of sleep. Okay. But for a lot of you guys, if you have to have 8 hours of sleep, get your 8 hours of sleep, get to bed earlier, put off that Netflix show, put off that, whatever it is that you're binging on, and, that hangout with your friends that is going to go over time. Put those aside so that you guys can start building this. Okay. Put your phone away. I do this all the time too, where you sleep and you have your phone next to you and then you just start endlessly scrolling. Then all of a sudden it's 1 a.m., right? Stop doing that. Put your phone away, plug it in far away from your bed so that you can focus on sleeping, focus on everything that you do. Okay. So whatever it is you need to change, get creative, make a plan. Do not allow yourself to continue bad habits to the next day. You can have days where you do things that aren't good, but don't take that into your next day. Just adapt as you go, become more efficient. Use Asana, use all of these processes that I'm showing you so that it can become a habit, guys. You have to use this for 30, 60, 90 days. You can't use it for a week and decide that, oh, this is too hard, I don't want to do this, and go back to what you're doing. I've had this happen too many times. I've had people have success within their first month, of starting something or starting to start something. And all of a sudden they stop doing these little things. They stop, putting things into Asana. They keep everything in their brain. They get overwhelmed and they jump right back in that deadly cycle of life without order. Okay, guys. So in the end, guys, this is my system. This is how I get so much done every single day, every single week, every single year. It's how I'm able to build multiple businesses at the same time. It's how I'm able to concentrate and build monthly incomes, multiple on the monthly basis, daily basis, with the same amount of time that you guys have. We all have the same amount of time, guys. So in recap, here are the important takeaways from this chapter, guys. So, and I'll go ahead and put you right back on me. Okay. So here are the important things to take away from this chapter. Stop taking advice from friends and family who don't have a successfully running business, a profitable one that they are not in every single day. Okay. Replace your inner circle with people who inspire and encourage you. Take ownership of your life and totally drop the victim mentality. The victim mentality, always points fingers at everybody else. But I'm telling you guys, the most freeing thing is to always point your finger at yourself and say, hey, you know what? That's on me. Because then nobody else, it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing around you. Now it's all on you. And you'll realize that there's so much that you can control, a lot more than you think you can. Start questioning the efficiency of everything that you're doing. If you can find a technology or a software that can help you do a certain daily task faster, get it and use it. Okay. Spend the money to use it or to buy it. Adopt the Jin mentality. Google it now. Don't ever think that you can't do something. Google it right then and there. Find it, research it, as much research as you need to do. Google it. Create your RPMs daily. Okay. Massive actions, guys. It's the only way that you can progress quickly. Implement the massive action planning system through Asana and through a calendar system. Record your thoughts immediately. Do not keep it in your brain. Remember the 7-year-old, don't overwhelm your brain. Take it out, free your mind, so that you can have amazing days and so much less stressful days. Get rid of depression, so that you can enjoy your life, enjoy everybody around you, and focus on anything that you're doing at any given time. Decide what you're doing with the tasks, plan how to do them, focus your attention, always focus on what it is that you're handling at any given time. Take away all the distractions. Okay. And then at the end of the day or the next day, review what it is that you accomplished, guys. So that is the end of chapter 1, guys. So I'm excited that you guys finished that with me. Excited to get to chapter 2. We will discuss a lot more important things, guys. Thanks for listening. Let's move on to the next.